So I used this flashlight or keychain light for about 7 months, very heavily in heavy wind, rain, so high speed rain, and in freezing temperatures every single day. It gave up after 7 months. It's sort of basically, it has 3 light settings. It has low, medium, and high. You cycle through them with a switch. There's 2 switches. One is for power and one is for toggling these light settings. And it started to only work on the middle light setting. And then it basically stopped working at all. And I emailed the company and they gave me a refund. And I'm pretty sure that the reason why it stopped working after 7 months of very intense usage in just environmental conditions that I really didn't expect this thing to last. And in the end, I think that the reason it actually stopped working is because I charged the lithium battery many times in sub-zero temperatures. And anyone who knows anything about lithium batteries, or you can read up yourself, but basically at the moment there is no battery with lithium technology that can be safely charged at below zero, because the chemistry in the battery requires an above freezing temperature to operate properly. Below zero, the lithium ions in the battery start to, instead of being absorbed into the spongy cathode or anode, I don't remember which one, but either way, the terminals of the battery effectively are a metallic sponge or some kind of whatever, I don't know exactly. And the lithium ion is supposed to migrate into that sponge and then be stored in there and released when you discharge the battery. But below zero, the lithium plates the anode and the cathode because it's just too cold for it to operate as it should. It can actually migrate into the terminal, but it does so at a very slow rate. So I believe that I destroyed the battery of this device by repeatedly charging it for like months at sub-zero temperatures. There is no battery which can handle that. So I would basically highly recommend this unit. The whole body is aluminum. It's quite thin aluminum. It's less than half a millimeter, but it's contoured in such a way that the curves of the contouring give the aluminum a lot of rigidity and a lot of strength for its weight. And you wouldn't really want something that's heavier than this in any case. The connection point for the keyring is actually extremely strong, and it pulls on the aluminum framing. It pulls on the plastic internals, which then presses on the aluminum. To me, that's a very good system because the plastic will distribute the force onto the aluminum. It has a rated carrying capacity of 30 kilos. I can tell you it's very strong. You wouldn't have to worry about it. And as far as brightness and so on goes, it is incredibly bright. And the battery life at the low and medium setting was fantastic. Now the low setting will be enough to let you see like 2 meters in pitch blackness. So if you get stuck somewhere and you need to hike home or you need to get home somehow on foot, the low setting will run for like 30 hours, which is a very decent chunk of time to get out of somewhere. Or, if you just want to open your car and look around in your car without making a massive amount of light or something like that. The low setting has about the same level of light as, I would say, a half moon. So what I used it for, I would illuminate my campsite with the low setting, and as long as there was more than half a moon in the sky, if you were more than like 30 meters away, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between this low level of light and the moonlight. But for myself, directly underneath the light, I could see like a 3-meter diameter circle of, what I'm doing. So making like cooking or cutting something a lot more easy. And the high setting is very bright. Like you could use it as a security lamp because no one can see through that. It also has a turbo setting, which you can only activate for short periods of time. Like, I don't know, I I guess, a minute. I used it to like check that I hadn't left stuff behind when I was leaving an area. And it is incredibly bright for such a small device, and reliable too. It never took more than an hour to charge. And when you think about it, an hour charging from a USB device and then 30 hours of runtime, most people are not going to use it for more than like an hour a day. So I was using it heavily, and I was charging it like basically once or twice a week. So I'm very impressed with this device. I have to also say that the clip works very well on a hat. Although if you have a very thick peak cap, sort of one of these old school baseball caps with like a 5mm peak, that'll be pushing the limit of the clip. The clip on my one fell off literally the day before I filmed this video. I guess it fell off while I was throwing the thing around. I was freaking out that it wasn't working. But during normal use, sleeping in sleeping bags and going through the forests just for months, like it got hooked on my bike handles a couple of times. Of course, it got hooked on like various branches and shit because I have it hanging around my neck. That clip never came off. It literally came off yesterday. So in conclusion, really, I would highly recommend this. I guess the last thing I can say about it is that it has a very nice flat form factor. When you're wearing a circular flashlight on your chest, no matter which way you turn it, it's always going to have the same bump away from your body, and anything that you have there is going to press this circular thing into like a concentrated angle of the radius into your chest. But I hung it on a loop of paracord, which I tied with a fisherman's knot, which I keep all my shit on, basically all my keys on, and it all hangs right in the sternum. Especially because this thing is so nice and flat, it kind of encourages the keys if you make sure that all the rings are like, lined up so that they all kind of want to lay flat on top of each other. You can really keep a bunch of keys along with this flashlight on a neck lanyard. And as long as you orient everything correctly, it'll sit nice and flat, whereas you're not going to get that same flatness with a round flashlight. So yeah, just a quick video. I would recommend it. If anyone has another long-term use where they didn't charge a thing in sub-zero temperatures, dozens and dozens of times, and I mean, a lithium battery is supposed to become very close to inoperable if you charge it in sub-zero temperatures once. I did that for like 4 months, and I'm not talking like a little bit below zero. I'm talking considerably below zero, like 10 degrees Celsius, 12 degrees, 15 degrees Celsius below zero. That is supposed to break a lithium battery in one go. And this thing lasted like 5 months or 4 months in those conditions, plus another 3 months. So I'm very impressed with it. I would like another one. Unfortunately, didn't have any available, so they had to refund me. But yeah, if anyone has any long-term non-freezing use experience with this thing, they could comment and tell me how it went for them. I'd be appreciative of that, because I'm interested in whether I should buy this again or not.